The definition of hypocrisy: the practice of claiming to have moral standards or beliefs to which one's own behavior does not conform. So basically it means talking the talk, but not walking the walk. So by this definition, Rami Salamel is a hypocrite.
Peace, 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 peace. I'm Rami Salamel. I thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. For new Moors that are watching this right now, people that are just coming into this Moorish information, please listen closely. Don't believe what I say. I encourage you to look up everything that you see, everything that you hear, and most importantly, judge everything based off of what Noble Drew Ali said. Why? Because he is a prophet. I'm not claiming to be a prophet. I'm not the leader or the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Noble Drew Ali. We're supposed to be following his lead, and we gotta stick to that principle, and also understand as we go through this is about principle. For Moors that have been aware about this information, I encourage you to listen to what I'm saying. Don't believe what I'm saying. Hold me accountable. If I said something that was incorrect, please inform me. Let me know where I was mistaken, if I made an error in any place.
Isn't it fascinating how he speaks in this soft voice and with gentle hand gestures to try and make you think he is being sincere? Then he throws in a, "Don't believe what I say, go research it for yourself." The catchphrase that we all use, hoping to give what we are saying some credibility. The difference is, some people use that catchphrase knowing that some of our people are lazy and won't research the info and take what they say at face value, while others that use that catchphrase actually really want you to research what is being said. Rami, on the other hand, is actually manipulating that catchphrase by adding a twist to it. He is hoping that you do go and research what he said, because if you do, you will find what he mentioned. The twist comes where he knows you won't research further than what he said to see where his hypocrisy lies. He is hoping you think the Moor with a soft voice and gentle hand gestures seems so kind, he has to be sincere and completely honest. Rami is also constantly encouraging the listener to judge everything that he says based on what Prophet Noble Drew Ali says. This is a twist on the catchphrase that a lot of these same Moors use. We are bringing what Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought. Once again with a soft voice and gentle hand gestures, and hoping that Moors that are less studied think he is telling the truth and being sincere. And then he proceeds to read from Prophet Noble Drew Ali's warning to the nation.
But to answer the question, why does Rami care so much? Why is he making these videos? Why is he talking about what Cujo do? Why does he care so much about what Cujo is saying and doing? Let me explain. This is what Noble Drew Ali said. Prophet warns all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. We're gonna get to that later. It says a little further down.
Once again, reading in a soft voice and with gentle hand gestures. And when he reads the part stating, "We are for peace and not destruction," he pauses and looks into the camera for dramatic effect. All this is to manipulate the viewer into thinking he is honorable.
We are for peace and not destruction.
But what he fails to realize is, with Moors that actually study, we don't have to go that deep into Noble Drew Ali's literature to see Rami's clear violation and hypocrisy. It is very simple. All we have to do is use something that pretty much every Moor should have in their possession: the divine constitution of Moorish America. Let's work backwards and start with Act 5 of the Divine Constitution of Moorish America. Act 5 reads, "No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby." The question that Moors ask about Act 5 is, which said government, laws, and constitution is the Prophet speaking about? The thing is, if the Prophet told us to enforce the Constitution, and a Constitution is the supreme law of the land in every country on the planet, then we are to enforce the Constitution of the said government in any land that we domicile, including our own divine Constitution of Moorish America. And this is why we are not to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. This is universal. So let's go to the Constitution of the United States of America and read the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment reads, "A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." This is what Rami won't tell you. He won't tell you that Rise of the Moors is not breaking any laws. He won't tell you that Rise of the Moors is not going against the divine constitution of Moorish America. He won't tell you that Rise of the Moors is not going against the Constitution of the United States of America. What Rami is hoping is that his soft voice and gentle hand gestures will manipulate you into thinking he is correct in what he is saying about Rise of the Moors, all while saying,
"We have to be true. I can't be hypocritical."
So Rise of the Moors is not breaking any constitutional laws of the United States of America, nor any constitutional laws of the divine constitution of Moorish America. And, so far, neither is Rami. Now let's move up to Act 4 of the divine constitution of Moorish America. Act 4 reads, "All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government, and must live the life accordingly." This is where Rami's hypocrisy is apparent, because this is where his second violation appears. Now, of course, Rami violating Act 4 may not be obviously clear to many. So for that clarity, let's go to Act 3 of the divine constitution of Moorish America. Act 3 reads, "Love, truth, peace, freedom and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love." Once again, no citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Rami put out a video claiming that Rise of the Moors are domestic terrorists. Let me repeat that again. Rami put out a video claiming that Rise of the Moors are domestic terrorists. That is the absolute height of falsely accusing his brother or sister and putting them in a dangerous, life-threatening position. The absolute height. All while trying to manipulate the viewer into thinking he is correct, because he is talking in a soft voice and with gentle hand gestures. This is absolutely disgusting. Rami is not only falsely accusing Rise of the Moors with his insinuation, but also putting Rise of the Moors, their family and children in harm's way. Just think about this for a moment. What does the United States government do with so-called domestic terrorists? Here, let's let Rami tell you.
Because this is not a game. And for those watching that may not understand why I'm coming at it like this, let me break it down. The US government, particularly the FBI, is calling people in the sovereign citizens domestic terrorists. They are calling people in the sovereign citizen movement, people that call themselves sovereign citizens or promote sovereignty or even try to use that kind of logic, that kind of thinking. They are labeling, classifying those kinds of people, those groups, as domestic terrorists. Why is this important? Well, what is the U.S. doing to terrorists all around the world? So-called terrorists. Be it the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, so-called ISIS, whatever group they want to create. I mean, it's out there, not that they created it. But what are they doing? Bombing them, going after them, sending thousands of troops, billions and trillions of dollars. War. A war on terrorism. So, if they're doing that to people over there, what do you think they're going to do to domestic terrorists? You think it's going to be all peaches and rainbows and flowers and daisies? No, it's not. And the people that are trying to associate Moors and Moorish Americans to sovereign citizens are thereby trying to associate us and classify us as domestic terrorists, so that the U.S. government and those three-letter agencies can bring war on us. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet.
So Rami knows exactly what he's doing, and the danger that he is causing to a fellow Moor, the Moor's wife, and children, yet clearly does not care. And to make things worse, the title of his video is, Moorish Americans Do Not Support, insinuating that all Moorish Americans agree with his hypocrisy and deliberate violation of Act 3, all while attempting to put rise of the Moors on an island by themselves, and putting key trigger words in his video like real Moorish Americans, trying to manipulate the viewer into thinking that he is a real Moorish American and that only real Moorish Americans agree with him. What the hell is a real Moorish American? All these violations cloaked in a soft voice and with gentle hand gestures to try and pacify you and distract you from his absolute abhorrent tactics. Absolutely disgusting. So say what you want about Grand Sheikh Cujo Adwoel and how he speaks to people online, and how he is always talking about dirty Moors and traitors, etc. You have never heard him attempt to label a Moor anything that would bring a foreign corporate entity's military down on that Moor, his wife and children. Never. Even if the Moor was selling packages for $7,000, $10,000, or $20,000, Grand Sheikh Cujo Adwoel never attempted to label a Moor anything that would bring a foreign corporate entity's military down on that Moor and his family. Never. But for some reason, Rami comes with his soft voice and gentle hand gestures, and this distracts some so-called studious Moors enough so that they do not recognize his supreme violation. Absolutely disgusting. This is a clear violation of Act 3 of the Divine Constitution of Moorish America, and thus by his violation of Act 3, he has automatically violated Act 4. And being that all constitutions are the supreme law of its respective land, the Divine Constitution of Moorish America is the supreme law of Moorish America. Rami did not even make it past Act 3 of our Divine Constitution. Yet Rami will say,
all true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet.
And
have to be true. I can't be hypocritical.
Rami is being hypocritical. So Rami can say what he wants about the Supreme Grand Council and what Grand Sheikh Cujo is saying, but Rami did not even make it past Act 3 of the Divine Constitution of Moorish America. And no soft voice and gentle hand gestures or key catchphrases like,
don't believe what I say. I encourage you to look up everything that you see, everything that you hear,
and deny the fact that Rami blatantly put a fellow Moor, regardless of if he agrees with the other Moor's viewpoint or not, and his wife and child, in an environment to be severely violated by the United States government. Rami said it himself.
Because this is not a game. And for those watching that may not understand why I'm coming at it like this, let me break it down. The U.S. government, particularly the FBI, is calling people in the sovereign citizens domestic terrorists. They are calling people in the sovereign citizen movement, people that call themselves sovereign citizens or promote sovereignty or even try to use that kind of logic, that kind of thinking. They are labeling, classifying those kinds of people, those groups, as domestic terrorists. Why is this important? Well, what is the U.S. doing to terrorists all around the world? So-called terrorists. Be it the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, so-called ISIS, whatever group they want to create. I mean, it's out there, not that they created it. But what are they doing? Bombing them, going after them, sending thousands of troops, billions and trillions of dollars. War. A war on terrorism. So, If they're doing that to people over there, what do you think they're going to do to domestic terrorists? You think it's going to be all peaches and rainbows and flowers and daisies? No, it's not. And the people that are trying to associate Moors and Moorish Americans to sovereign citizens are thereby trying to associate us and classify us as domestic terrorists, so that the U.S. government and those three-letter agencies can bring war on us.
That makes Rami the epitome of a hypocrite and a true sellout. Rami has the nerve to speak about El-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz, aka Malcolm X, and the NOI, and he knows that Minister Farrakhan admitted to creating the environment for El-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz to be murdered. So Rami knows exactly what he is doing with Rise of the Moors. And we see through his soft voice and gentle hand gesture hypocrisy. Rami said it himself.
You know what you're doing. And justice will come to you. Not from me, not from any Moor, not from any human being. The Creator.
Rami will get his payback from Allah. So Rami can quote all the Prophet Noble Drew Ali quotes he wants. He can come in our chat while there is a live YouTube video happening and quote all the sayings from Noble Drew Ali. Just like a Christian church pastor, picking and choosing what quotes he can use to pacify his congregation, hoping that they won't see through his hypocrisy and BS. Hey Rami, here is a Bible quote for you. Proverbs 11, verse 9. A hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge the just shall be delivered. Nothing will change the fact that what Rami did is worse than any dirty Moor selling packages, worse than any so-called black people making videos attacking Moors, etc. Rami created an environment for a fellow Moor and his family to be fatally harmed. And if anything happens to Rise of the Moors, that will be on Rami's soul, because Rami knows exactly what he is doing. Rami said it himself.
You know what you're doing. We have to be true. I can't be hypocritical.
Rami is the epitome of a hypocrite and a sellout. Yuck.
So, and then Farrakhan apologized. He said, I'm sorry for making it, I'm paraphrasing. He said, I'm sorry for making it, for making the environment for it to be okay for him to be murdered. So now think, Rami Salam El, you fucking idiot, if you're for love so much, you think it's okay to put the phrase domestic terrorist and then put a fucking picture of me there? You idiot? What type of subliminal image are you putting in people's minds, you fucking idiot?